So for those of you who are watching this, first of all, thank you. You probably know me, or you've met me either before uni or after uni. So in university I created this documentary with two other guys, very, very small scale, and it was just the most fun thing I could have possibly done. I think it'd be fair to say we had very, very little, no experience. I'd never seen a camera, I didn't know what one looked like, didn't know how it operated, everything was on auto. Even when it came to sound, which is kind of my speciality, I didn't really know what I was doing. I realised for this whole documentary that we did, I don't think we used one microphone, which now I look back on it is just ridiculous. But from doing this project, I realised that that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to pursue it. I loved making this project and this film so that people could see that after university I thought, do you know what, I'll give this a real go and see if I can move from what I was doing, which was radio, to the world of television. And now I'm really lucky that actually that's my job and I get to work in television. I'm one of the luckiest people going to have had people who would take me on, to have had people who would teach me, and to have people who would try and help me progress through this. So eventually I can do like what I did in this documentary, which is the main aim really, and that's where I want to be, and I'd love to do that as my job, to tell stories like that. What was really interesting was this story that we did, and the reason why I'm kind of going back to basics on this is there'll be people in university who have seen this and have seen that journey of making that documentary. It was a whole lot of the story in itself. Then there'll be people who have seen me after this who won't know the reason why I got into television in the first place. So it was about cystic fibrosis. We looked at my uncle who had the illness, cystic fibrosis. That not only was I following his life, but I was realising actually how similar it is for me, and how actually similar to Gareth I was and am. And actually the fact was, he was a documentary photographer, and I ended up making a documentary and working in documentaries, which is crazy, and it shows how amazing positive influences can be on people. But what's interesting now is through doing that documentary, the things that I've been able to find out about cystic fibrosis and the people who have it has been fascinating and really, really interesting. I was able to speak at the European Cystic Fibrosis Conference in Liverpool and chat to kind of the head honchos about what I found out, which was interesting because I knew very little about it medically. My experience was just about the people who'd had it. But my main thing about this is actually what's been the most interesting thing about doing this documentary and about looking into cystic fibrosis is actually my journey with looking into this and looking into myself with it as a carrier hasn't stopped. And I don't think many people know that, because I have some rare genes that need a bit more investigating, and it's really interesting. I'm a little bit nervous with this because, as I say, there are similarities with Gareth. Gareth coughed all the time. I cough all the time and have asthma. I have a nervous tick or a tick of coughing, and from talking about it now I really want to cough. In university my mates used to call it like the Dav mating call, because I used to do it all the time in the house and it had a really strange sound. But there's a little bit of nervousness that actually could it be a little bit more than just a cough, and could mine and Gar's genetics be even more similar? So what I'm doing now is I'm going to the outpatients in Landock Hospital, where I did my first interview with a CF specialist, and now it's interesting because I'm not going as an interview, I'm going technically as a patient. which is really, really strange. But I guess the more you look into your genetics, the more you look into a subject that affects you, the more rabbit holes you're going to go down and the more you're going to discover. And it's going to be interesting because it could be absolutely nothing, but it could be something really, really big that affects me for, well, not affects me, but it's part of me for the rest of my life. And if so, there's more to look into. So yeah, I guess there's a long way to say that the journey isn't over yet, and there's more to be learnt about it. I guess I'm going to put this on my YouTube. I don't know how this looks. It might look absolutely rubbish. So that went pretty quick. It took me about 40 minutes to find a parking space. And the test, see there? Don't know if you can see. It took about 10 minutes. But it was interesting going into the ward because obviously it's a respiratory ward during COVID. But yeah, all done, and we'll find out in a few weeks what the results are of this test. I don't even know what the results can be, to be honest. But yeah, I guess if you haven't seen the piece that I did about my Uncle Gareth, feel free to have a look on YouTube. It's now on like over 2,000 views, which is great considering it was a small budget with a small team about a subject that we knew absolutely nothing about. So feel free to check that out. And like, if it's your first time watching it, let me know what you think. And if there's just more, I guess, content and stuff that you want to see more of from me, because I'll probably post this on my YouTube channel, which I very, very rarely post on, like, let me know. And if you have any questions, or if you're someone that wants to know more about CF, or it affects your family, like, and you just want to chat about it, feel free to just give me a message. But yeah, this is just another step into this journey that's been going on for about 4 or 5 years now.